Hey new YouTube subscribers. I just wanted to say welcome and thanks for jumping on the bandwagon over here, because I would love to be able to do interactive lives still, even whilst I'm banned from Facebook. So let's hope that I can get enough subscribers for that. So apart from that though, I just wanted to check in with everyone and share, because obviously there is so much happening in the world right now, and you know, for those of you who are really facing it, you know, the stuff that's really going on in terms of the scale and extent of how bad the problem of human trafficking, child trafficking, sex trafficking, pedophilia is in this world, and the fact that it's actually people that we looked up to, like celebrities and you know, politicians and all sorts of people, chat show hosts, musicians. It's all, I mean, you can't really name names on on YouTube, but people that I really looked up to and admired are actually not good people at all, and it's pretty disturbing. And they've been the real perpetrators in this. It's so good that the information and stats around human trafficking are becoming more like mainstream now and are really, you know, getting out there. But I guess we need to remember that it's not like this like bad, like secret criminal organization. It's people that have been in the public eye. I can't name names, but if you've been looking into this, you'll know that are the ones that have been involved in this stuff, and I think that's what makes it even more effed up and crazy. Now, I just want to touch on the opportunity for growth that is available in this really turbulent time we're living through, because as we face this stuff, so for example, you know, for me, when I look at the horrible things that are happening and have been happening for a very long time to children, on massive scales in the shadows, you know, it's been festering in the shadows of our society, of our world for a very long time. It's heartbreaking, and it's enraging, and I just want to touch on the fact that there are two different kinds of, what would you say, emotional responses to these things that we're seeing. So literally we can, for example, let's say you can see, you know, on TV a child in Africa who's like starving to death and is probably going to die tomorrow because they don't have food, and it'll bring a tear, you know, to your eye. And it's not because it's not triggering something in you. You've never, you know, been close to starving to death before. Starvation has never really affected you personally. You just feel that emotion because you have a big heart and you see another being suffering. Now, what's huge about what is coming out, that it's around child abuse, basically, is that 1 in 3, the stats are so high, right? 1 in 3 women have been abused, including me, including almost all of the women that I've worked with as clients, 1 in 3 women, 1 in 6 boys have been abused. So what's coming out now, when people face this, it's also going to, that selfless emotion here, right? It's just, you've got a big heart. But then there's also people who are walking around who have so much bottled up emotion and even trauma, and then they face this stuff, and they're looking at basically child abuse, and they haven't dealt with their own child abuse. It's going to trigger a lot of emotion. And what's interesting is that none of us, so many people don't know how to feel their feelings. And that sounds so simple, and I'm not even sure how many people will really truly understand that, but we're so taught to not feel our feelings. Most of us are walking around, it's normal these days to live in fight or flight response mode, right? So our nervous system is all the time, it's just in that breathing in the chest, mind's busy, just thinking about what to do, totally disconnected from the body. And when we living in that state, which so many, it's just modern, everyday, busy lifestyle that's become normal now. When you're in that state, naturally we're so disconnected from our true feelings, from our heart. And so what's happening now, is so many people go to, because it's really being shoved in people's faces now, this stuff is being brought up from the surface, and it's going to be really hard for a lot of people. So because people don't know how to process and deal with their emotions, then there's the actual trauma, and the fact that when I was young, I was sexually abused by my father. I lost my mum at a young age, and so I have been through a lot of trauma myself, and I've been on a journey since I was 19 years old to really find I've done so many different things. I've worked with so many coaches, healers, therapists, done so many programs, masterminds, looked at so many different modalities, from breathwork to energy healing, etc., right? Because I've really been on this quest for what is it that really, really has us heal on the deepest of levels, on soul levels, right? Because when a trauma, if a child is raped, that level of trauma runs so deep. It's not just a physical and a psychological trauma. That is spiritual trauma. It goes to the soul. And right, and there's other kinds of trauma, that are their soul trauma, their soul level spiritual trauma. When that level of trauma happens, very deep, real inner alchemy is needed. And what I've found over the last decade is so many of the modalities and just knowledge out there that is kind of mainstream, whether that be in the new age spiritual community or personal development or life coaching, a lot of it is actually really shallow. It does not, this is from my experience, right? It does not go to the depths and give the result of the true nourishment and healing that is needed for someone who's been through trauma. So, and even just for people to, and you know, and it's not just people who have been through these like, oh my God, these hardcore traumas in their life. It's just also people, any one of us just living in everyday life in this crazy world, because there's so much wrong with this world. There's so much fucked up, right? So, that's what I wanted to, it's a crazy time right now, and that's what I wanted to share. And the two things that I have come across that are so transformational and so nourishing and so healing is basically somatic based movement therapies. So what I've learned is that emotion moves through, it gets stored in the body and it moves through the body. So when we have a traumatic experience or even just a difficult experience, the memory gets stored in our brain, but the emotion, right, the charge, that visceral charge, gets stored in the body. And so this is why I believe that so many of the modalities out there don't go to the depths needed, right? A lot of them, they are powerful, but it's like they don't completely heal and go to the depths because they don't include the body. So many people are either sitting there talking or sitting there with their eyes closed, listening or doing a visualization, or they're lying on a table. But in every circumstance, the body is still, the body is not included in the healing process or the spiritual connection process, or to help have an emotional release. So my favorite things, so breath work is amazing because it brings our nervous system back to our natural state, brings us back to our natural state, which is in scientific terms homeostasis, but in normal people's terms, it's just, if you're not a scientist, it brings us back to feeling calm. Our natural state is feeling calm and grounded and centered and clear. And that's what is needed. We need to be in our bodies and calm. Our emotions are only going to surface when we're feeling safe. And so that's why breath work is really powerful for bringing up those emotional releases, for sure. Sound. So emotion moves through our bodies through movement, sound, or tears. So sound, so chanting, that's why it's actually really powerful, or even just something that I do in Tigress Yoga, which is created by Devashi, which is breathing in through the nose. And then, and you sigh out throughout the whole practice. So whether it be an hour or 2 hours sometimes. And that is so incredibly powerful and takes you so deep and even takes you to an altered state of consciousness. Listening to music, sound healing, those are all really powerful. My two favorite practices are the one I just mentioned, Tigress Yoga. And if you want to know more about that, just comment below on this video. And also Koya, which I am nearly a fully certified teacher in. So Koya is a movement system based on the idea that through movement we remember that our essence as women is wise, wild, and free. And it combines dance, sensual movement, and yoga. Essentially, it's just a really beautiful, fun, expressive form of somatic therapy. So with with both Koya and Tigress, I so often, a lot of the time, I'll have resistance towards doing them, like, no, I don't want to do it. And then, but it's because I know that when I do them, it just brings up really deep stuff. But throughout both of them, the insights, the connection that I feel is absolutely incredible. And I have seen it in, like in other women as well that I've spoken to and done the classes with. But even just dancing around like a crazy person to music, but with the intention to know yourself as divine in physical form in your body. That's what I want to share for now. Because otherwise this video is going to take forever to upload. Now is such an important time to be taking care of ourselves, especially our emotions, because information is coming to the surface and it's there. It's right there in front of our faces, and a lot of it is disturbing. And if we don't know how to, in a really healthy way, navigate our emotions and also get the proper healing for any unresolved traumas you might have, it's going to be really difficult, really, really difficult. So that is my wish for everyone. And I mean, there's so much I could say around this, that there is so much knowledge missing. I've been on a quest for this stuff, as I said, for a decade now, and only in the last year and a half I've come across the things that are truly, truly transformational and healing and nourishing for us as souls in a human body having a human experience. It's crazy, and there's a reason for that, but there's a reason why all the stuff that is truly healing and transformational has been hidden, but I'll talk about that in another video. Anyway, let me know what you resonated with in this video, and I hope you got something out of it through me sharing, and sending everyone so much love.